What's up, dudes and dudettes of the internet? My name is Scythe, and today I'm going to be giving my response to some of the questions that we ended up getting sometime last week or something like that on the 30,000 subscriber AMA type thing. So this is a video solely for me to make responses to some of the comments that I ended up getting on the other video. Just saying this as a heads up, because a lot of times I'll put these response videos up from me and then people start leaving more questions down below. I'm not going to be answering those because I'm already going to be answering the last week's questions. We ended up getting quite a bit of questions. Unfortunately, because of that, I'm not going to be able to reply to every single one of them. So hopefully you're going to be satisfied with the answer. I kind of spliced a couple questions together because there was like a couple repeat questions and stuff like that. Either way, I hope you enjoy. I randomly found TROVE on a humble indie bundle. The original trailer that they had, which of course you can't really find anywhere anymore, really reminded me of Cube World, and then when I started playing it, it was just Cube World all over again. And I think most of the original TROVE players did move on from Cube World to TROVE. Even I think one of the original TROVE videos was actually someone saying like it was a Cube World versus TROVE. I mean, TROVE's kind of evolved beyond that point now, but hey. Grind. Non-stop grinding. Seriously, that's all I and everybody else does in order to actually level up the classes. If you end up grinding for a day straight, you can guarantee to end up getting at least a class from 0 to max level, which is 20. No problem, man. The tips that I usually go by is go into a portal that you can handle, but also one that's not too easy. Before I ended up getting my full set of radiant gear, I ended up just grinding my classes to max level in U3 and U4. I think the way it is now is very close to how it's going to end up being end game. As far as the comment section is concerned, I just get my fiance to read all the comments for me and then give me a summary. As for hanging out with people in our Razorcom's mic chat, I know that eventually that's just gonna be impossible for me to keep up with. And even I kind of gauge TROVE and the community that I have around me in there as a way of determining what it's going to end up being like once people are around and giving me the same amount of attention for the YouTube channel rather than just TROVE. And with the way that it is, I still do my best to read and respond to as many people as I can, but at the same time being very realistic in approaching like whether or not, like pretty much whenever people ask me for free stuff, I just can't give it to them because it's like if I give it to one person, then I gotta give it to 1,000 people. So you kind of see my predicament. Are you asking me for my recording or sleeping schedule? I record whenever I want, which most of the time is whenever I end up having the time. Or in some cases when I absolutely need a video, kind of like this Q&A right now. I'm actually recording this just before I go to bed, and I'm going to end up editing this the next day. As for sleeping, I just sleep when I'm tired. That's the advantage of being self-employed, dude. I get this question a lot in TROVE, so I kind of wanted to cover it in this video. Officer is not a rank. TROVE has a very weird way of approaching clans that most other games don't even touch. Architect and officer and leader are more in-game privileges rather than being a rank. For example, an officer can easily open up the biomes so that members could just wreck everything and they could steal all the portals and stuff like that. This is usually what ends up happening to a lot of new clubs. They're always saying how, dude, everything in my club just got robbed because lots of people don't know how to change the biomes and the game does a very poor job explaining it. It's because of this that we do not give officer to anybody that hasn't been around with the community for a long time and also has made an impression. For example, our most recent officers was Leroy and Magnum, and both of them have been around with Team Pixel for a very, very, very long time, and as soon as they ended up getting Architect, they started building like crazy, helping out with the community and trying to, you know, help all the new players out and stuff like that, and it's just kind of about applying yourself. During my teen years, I kind of ended up growing up watching Let's Plays. The big two that I still actually watch even today is Etho and BOO. BOO was my all-time inspiration to actually getting into YouTube. But I also just love video games, and I love talking to people. Even though we're not necessarily talking directly, it still feels like I'm interacting with all of you. Alright. Jub is mine. You'll end up getting a comment from my fiance, Scarlet the Spider. I think that's what her username is right now. She will tell you if you have won a giveaway and also tell you to spam me in game. She also ends up giving me your name so that I can throw it onto a list to check and make sure that you actually have won the prize, because you wouldn't believe how many people I get like whispering me saying, dude, I won the prize, give me it. And it's like, no, you didn't, you're lying. I've gotten this question at almost every Q&A. My real name is Scythe. As for my last name, I'm not going to be giving that one out publicly, but hardcore fans, aka stalkers, have actually found out my last name, and I mean, it's not like it's a problem, but at the same time, you know, I don't really feel comfortable saying it out loud in videos. My computer is completely custom. I'm very fortunate that at the time that I was building my computer, there was a cousin that actually lives kind of locally out here, and he's a very techie kind of guy and loves building computers. And at the time, I was kind of hanging out with him a lot, you know, not really so much anymore, just because things just kind of grew distant and stuff like that. You know how life is. But anyway, he ended up giving me a huge help in actually like ordering all the different individual parts, and I pretty much just spared no expenses because I thought that it's better to just upgrade to the end game rather than just slowly upgrading over time, because I'm very serious about what I do. Nope, I'm Canadian. I think the only other country that I've visited is America so far. Forever. YouTube's my dream job, dude. I'm not exactly sure what this question meant, but my interpretation is a YouTube partnership. I've gotten tons of partnership offers from partner programs on YouTube. None of them really interest me because behind the scenes I'm actually very, very independent and I like doing things my way. The other answer that I could come up with if I looked at this question a different way is that I'm probably going to end up making my own game company one day if I'm fortunate enough that I can actually get that kind of finance to make my own video game. Yep. I know I will hit 1 million and beyond, mostly because I'm never going to stop doing this. And I mean, I'm still just kind of in awe of the fact that we're already over 30,000 subscribers. And I still remember and get sentimental when I start thinking about our first 10, first 100, and so forth. The fact of the matter is that I'm not going anywhere, and the amount of subscribers just keeps going up and the views keep going up. So it's got nowhere else to go but up. Now, as for how long is it gonna take to get there, that's entirely up to you. I already did play Destiny. I have a live stream of it on the channel. I'm 500, but I was cursed by a dragon with eternal youth, so I'm like 12. The only one that I can actually say I'm going to play is No Man's Sky, which I've talked about countless times before during most of these Q&As and stuff because I get this question a lot. But as time passes, the hype for that game is kind of going down quite a bit. Guaranteed, whatever the next Elder Scrolls game that comes out, I'm gonna be playing that. I'm also planning to play the next Zelda. Hopefully they don't end up taking too long making it on the next console. But the most recent game that I actually have planned outside of suggested games is Doom 4. Heads up, that game is not G-rated in any way, shape, or form. It's actually very, very gory, but I am a huge Doom fan, so I'm gonna have to just make sure to put a whole bunch of warnings before the videos. Definitely, I want to go now. Right now, I am not making that kind of scratch from YouTube. YouTube is paying, and it's the same as doing like a full-time job right now, but I'm not getting enough money that I can end up going to gaming conventions. Not to mention, not that anybody cares, that Canada's dollar sucks right now, so almost anything that I buy is twice the price when converted from American to Canadian. Probably Mario on the NES, maybe something else, but I don't know. The only other game that I'm really going to do from my childhood is kind of a replay, which will just be Turok 2 when it has the HD remake come out. The next big game that was on my list was Mystical Ninja starring Goemon on the N64. It's a very weird game though, and kind of niche, and I don't really know how popular it was on the 64 because the game never really had like it had a sequel, but it was a really weird one, and then I think the series kind of stopped after that. So I don't know if I'm ever gonna end up getting a chance to do that game. The other really big one that I've had on my mind like crazy though is Diablo 2, so I might end up squeezing that one in somewhere, but I really don't expect that series to be popular. I actually use a wig so that I can look like my old channel avatar. You know, the little pixel guy that shows up in the videos. Hadouken! I used to have white hair, but in all honesty, a wig is definitely the way to go for anybody who dyes their hair. Keeping white hair is extremely difficult, not to mention the amount of bleach that you're putting on your scalp is just not good for you, dude. So there is just no way that I could keep bleaching my hair that consistently. And my eyes are brown, not red. And no, I don't wear contact lenses. I used to wear glasses back when I was a little kid, but I legit grew out of them. I don't need glasses anymore. I don't know what this means, but it makes me Crichton. Aren't they both the same thing? Great, thanks for asking. Next. Death Note, Full Metal Alchemist, and Rama 1/2. Gungrave's also pretty cool too, but it starts very, very slow. Etho and B00-100. I used to watch B00 all the time, but more recently I've been watching Etho more than B-dubs. Text-based games like Undertale are actually a lot of fun for me because I like doing funny voices for characters. It really reminds me of like when I did all my Zelda series. Those were always a lot of fun. But personally, as far as story games are concerned, like Minecraft Story and that other weird zombie survival story game and stuff like that, I don't really care for those types of games. Personally, I find them kind of boring. So you're probably not gonna see that much on the channel because actually behind the scenes, like if I was playing games more organically rather than trying to make it like a bit more of an interactive experience, I usually just skip all the cutscenes. I already did Draw My Life, brah, and it's on the channel too. You wouldn't believe the amount of people that asked me to do a series that I already have like 50 episodes on. I'm a full-time YouTuber, dude. This is my job. Only if tons of people ask for it, but right now you're the only one asking for it, Pascal, so I don't think so. Plus, I'm not really that big of a Monster Hunter fan. Bandicam. I've used Bandicam since the beginning of time. It doesn't break your computer to run it because it compresses the files as you're recording, and it also has some handy options like being able to split the mic recorded audio track and the game audio track. So for somebody like me I like to just record the games raw at their normal natural volume, and if the game's too loud, I have the option of being able to bring that down separately from bringing down my voice with it. The program itself does have a lot of big technical issues, that's for darn sure, and it was a huge learning curve for me to actually end up getting to use it as stably as I do now. And even despite all of my experience, I still have problems with the program because it ends up crashing quite a bit. Like loading screens, for example, Bandicam crashes or messes up your footage every time you go through a loading screen. And if a game crashes, wave goodbye to your footage. If I got 10 yes, I would probably want to give back 1 no, just to break things up. I'm very particular when it comes to music. That's kind of why I write my own songs and stuff like that. But otherwise, for bands, it would be U2 right at the top. You know, Bono's absolutely amazing. I love that guy. Not to mention, there's Angels and Airwaves. I don't really so much like their more recent weird trippy stuff, but it's cool to listen to. And Muse is always a good time. Typically, I seem to like epic melodic music. Game music, I guess, would be at the top. Nope, can't say that I have. Everybody else seems to think that I'm gonna quit Trove, but honestly, I'm waiting for the day where everybody quits except for me, and I'm in a ghost town. A brick of cheese, so I could eat it as I fight. Mario 64 with my brother, and Zelda Wind Waker on my own. What? I don't live in a house, so no. I already tried doing a Pokemon series on PokeMMO, which is actually Pokemon Red, but it's like online. It didn't really go too well, not to mention I got bored with it very, very fast. Last I checked, I clocked in over 6,000 hours. The first video I had on YouTube was actually my Far Cry 3 series, which was kind of funny at the time. You know, I was trying something very different than what I'm doing now. Like, I was doing heavy editing. I was also being very, like, involved with the game. Like, that's kind of back before I used the webcam. Like, I would animate the in-game character and try to act like I was them. Soon after that, I ended up starting the Turok 2 series, and I had both of those running right beside each other at the start. But in my older videos, I used to swear, so I set all of those to private. Dudes and dudettes, dude. I don't own a PS3 or a PS4, so probably not gonna happen. I don't know why everybody's asking me this. I'm not albino, I'm a gamer. There's a difference. The sun is my enemy. I also look a lot paler than I actually am because of all the lighting that I have to have around me to make the green screen work. Yep, me and my bro actually made a few desktop wallpapers. Papers, not tapers. You can actually check all those pictures out and more on the unofficial fan page. It was fun. Once I got to expert mode, I actually played a ton of Terraria with multiple different people, but I did a lot of that off camera. On average, I found that a lot of the hosting was very, very laggy, and even myself, like in the actual series when I was recording with Serp and Crichton, they were getting extreme lag on their end. I do wish that I ended up getting a lot more people involved than like just in the videos, but there was so many technical difficulties behind the scenes with that game that I kind of just rushed it in one night. Me. From a piercer. My ears I got done in a mall. The rest of them I got done at a tattoo place. Honestly, it was inspired by other Let's Players. Almost every channel that you see has swearing, and As I was watching like more and more Let's Plays and stuff like that, I started to notice that as soon as somebody would swear, usually within like the first minute or two because people can't help themselves, I found myself closing the video, and it was just kind of like, why? Not why towards me, why towards them? Especially with the majority of people that actually watch YouTube being underage. It was a big decision though, because in my first original game series, I did used to swear, and I knew that as soon as I stopped swearing, it was going to kind of cut my growth spurt with the channel. Like if I swore in the videos, it would definitely make my content a lot more palatable for generic people to just show up in, and the channel itself would probably be growing a lot faster. But if that's the price to pay just for having content that can be inspiring to kids, then I'll pay it, dude. Well, for starters, I would stop putting mounts and new garbage into the game and start focusing on developing the building mechanics, the club mechanics. Club-specific items would be a really big thing too, I think. Like maybe having a specific emblem, if not a cape. Or even like custom armor based on like your club, that would be really cool too. Not to mention the adventure content needs a huge bump up. Because the two biggest, most popular things in the game is actually clubs, which mostly involves building, and dungeon crawling. And both of those aspects of the game are completely lacking. Not to mention bug fixes. And I'm talking old bugs that have been around since alpha. But I'm not a dev, so I'll just enjoy the game as it is. Be true to yourself and play the games that you want to play. Even at the beginning of my channel, I actually had great reception from people that came from my Turok 2 LP because I think that viewers genuinely enjoyed my enthusiasm towards a game that I was so passionate about. I think TROVE's the same thing. You can't really start like Let's Playing TROVE or other games just because you want the views and attention. Now that said, if TROVE was like not popular at all, then maybe I would have stopped playing it quite a while ago, but the fact of the matter is that there are so many people involved with it that it just gets me stoked to be involved with it. Johnny was never really that into TROVE, honestly, but I think the biggest reason is the lack of co-op content. Yes, you can complete a dungeon together and technically play the game together, but TROVE doesn't really have any strategy whatsoever, and it doesn't require two people for anything. Like, you're not gonna have one guy try to aggro the boss while the other guy's DPS or anything like that, because it's all just about choosing the strongest class in the game, the Lunar Lancer. That, combined with the huge amount of people trying to follow me, and good luck playing with my bro. Something that pays the bills so that I could still do YouTube. I used to do construction, Starbucks, you name it. I think if I was seriously considering a generic 9-to-5 career, it would be something to do with people. Server jobs, for example, I usually excel at and get tons of tips. Probably when the game launched. At that time, it really felt like the devs were going out of their way to make a game. And now it kind of feels like they're just waiting to make more content for people to pay for. I played Terraria back when it was still beta with my brother. I remember even while we were playing it, they were adding like new armor to the game, and we were actually playing on like these terrible netbook computers which could barely handle anything, but we were playing it co-op together, so it was a lot of fun. We ended up stopping as soon as they started adding more visuals like the cascading background and stuff, because suddenly those laptops couldn't handle it anymore. The reason I included that question is because my friends list is full, brah. I didn't even know that Steam could have a full friends list, but after I started my TF2 series, it just filled up like that. Fort, aka Master Chief, aka Fortress. But that's mostly because he's such a unique dragon and all the other ones were nerfed so hardcore. Yep. I've played Wireframe, and I have a video on it. Can someone please explain to me what a reaction video is? Because I get lots of requests for this. I assume it's something that PewDiePie's doing. Who doesn't like pie? I'm secretly a pie maker. Fire. Blonde to dirty blonde. Although I don't know why my facial hair comes out red. I guess that's the Irish in me. You can't. I know, they ruined it. They made it so that you can only delete items in Trove now. I'm pretty sure that they think that it would resolve some of the lag because it would be less entities dropped on the ground. But the new servers already prove that they don't care how laggy it gets, because the new servers suck. Xbox, because I grew up with the Splinter Cell games, and that was before gaming companies were evil. The only reason I even have an Xbox One was because Sunset Overdrive, and the Wii U is a great console if Nintendo would make any other game besides Mario Kart. And now that they're pushing Zelda back to promote their new stupid console, I don't know. My favorite TV show ever made is Beast Wars. Check it out if you can. That and Reboot, which was made by the same company. Probably not. Honestly, I'm not a very big Fallout fan in general, and the only real reason I even check out the latest Fallout games is because Bethesda always uses Fallout as a way of testing new features and game mechanics that they bring to the Elder Scrolls games. So it's always kind of a cheaty way of getting hype for their next Elder Scrolls. I wouldn't say Trove is more fun at the end game, more that it's a different kind of fun than at the beginning. Because at the start, you're discovering all sorts of new items, you're leveling up your characters, you're grinding, and you're just kind of playing through the game and learning how it all works, right? Once you get to the end game, it's more about grinding just for the sake of trying to keep your flux up so that you can get all the latest items, so that you can keep your mastery up for when they up the cap. It kind of becomes more, can I collect everything at the end game? But at the same time, I'm very lenient about that. Personally, I think they need to add a lot more toys to keep the end game interesting. I want a jetpack, a helicopter, and a rocket launcher for Christmas, please. Also give me infinite bombs, because seriously, I don't want to have to grind that ore. I actually have fun with all the games that I record, because if I don't record it. Rampagin Reno something. Alright everybody, that's all the questions that we have time for today, so thank you all so much for your contributions. I hope that you do enjoy this response to all of your questions, and sorry to the few people that I ended up missing. A lot of the comments I didn't feel was very appropriate, not to mention I probably just forgot to put it in my huge text document. It's probably going to be a very long time before we get another chance to do another Q&A, probably at like 40k or maybe at every 10k interval we'll probably end up doing a Q&A. The biggest reason I don't really like doing these videos, not that I don't enjoy it, like I enjoy the experience sharing it with all of you dudes and dudettes, but it's more that this video alone took me like hours to edit. They're some of the worst ones because I have to cut out all the silence and I have to watch through the entire video so that I can catch all of the silence. And I don't know why I always seem to record these like right before I go to bed, when you can clearly hear in my voice that like I'm just like so strained out. But either way, thank you all so much, dudes and dudettes. I very much appreciate all the love and support that I've been getting from everybody. Like seriously, I say this on every single video that I get the chance. I am so surprised that we've got such an awesome community here, like seriously. So I hope you have a great day, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoy all the content that is to come. As always, thanks so much for watching everybody. Sayonara and stay epic.